Hi, this is Roxana for Avid Diva, and today is day 61. Is it 61 or 62? 62 of the 100-day challenge. Today is Wednesday, which means it's Dementia Wednesday. And today we're going to talk about good days and bad days. Um, this disease is 100% lethal. It means, well, in most cases, dementia, because it will start with your memories, but it will eventually take over that part of your memory that reminds you how to do things. And what that means is that in time it will take care of your body forgetting to do functions, etc., and eventually you are going to die. Now, mind you, we're all going to die, so that's not a surprise to anyone. It's just that the way you die with dementia is not necessarily the best way to die possible. And we have to think about the possibility that at some point my family member has to go and stay somewhere, like in a facility. We are nowhere near that yet. So when I talk about good days and bad days, I'm talking about the fact that there are some days, like yesterday, where she was very alert. She knew everything. She was awesome. You would tell her something, she would remember and whatnot. Now, keep in mind that my family member actually can follow logic, which is very good because she's been able to relearn some things. Once you pass a certain stage on the when you have dementia, you really can't get anything back. In her case, we have even found her learning how to run a wheelchair, which is not the easiest thing to do because she doesn't have a lot of strength in one of her arms. But she surprised us with her ability to catch up and figure out how to run the wheelchair, and how if you want to move to one end, you have to move the opposite wheel so that it turns. Like if you want to turn left, you have to move the right wheel more than the left wheel, and that if you want to move even faster, then you have to move the right wheel forward and the left wheel backwards to turn left, etc. So she does follow logic. She is very good at figuring out what's going on once you start talking to her. She does have, the occasional thing where she'll call me. She always knows my name, which is really strange. She always knows my name. She doesn't necessarily know which member of the family I am. She knows I'm a family member, though. However, when my husband goes and visits, she always knows who he is and which family member he is, which is really interesting to me. Um, but when they're bad days, and bad days right now are not about memory, and they're not about logic either, because to give you an example, today was not necessarily a good day, and she was not, like, she knew exactly who I was. I was with another family member, and she knew who that family member was. She just started out not very happy. And the thing with this disease is that you have to keep them in a good mood. If they're in a good mood, they can conquer the planet. If they're not in a good mood, it gets to them. And it gets to them really quick. And when the person by nature is already the kind of person that when they're in a good mood, it's awesome, and when they're not in a good mood, they tend to cry. You have to find a way to balance that. And why do I tell you that? Because the one thing that I've learned about this disease, not only with the books I've been reading, but the information that I've gathered from several sources, is that you see a lot of their nature even when they have the disease. And what do I mean by that? If you're a person that's always on the go, like if you can't sit still for 5 minutes, which is usually my case, I don't know how I sit down, because I'm always jumping from one thing to the next. You are going to see that. If I had dementia 20 years from now, you would see that in my personality. I would either be the kind of person that they would have to put a sensor on my leg because I would be running away from the hospital all the time. There's certain things that happen when a person is that way, and their personality is definitely reflected, and even when they have the disease. if you have a certain routine when you are fine, when you have dementia, your brain automatically is going to go to that routine. So keeping an eye on routines and that sort of thing is a good thing for people that you think might have either there's too many family members with dementia, so you have a pretty 50-50 chance that they will develop it. I personally decided that I was going to write down everything I do, in routines I do and whatnot, so that when the time comes, if it comes, which I hope it doesn't, if it ever comes, then people know what to do with me so that they don't get confused by the behavior. However, this person, when they get sad, they get really sad. They usually just, because they're crying. And so when we went to visit today, she was kind of like in that place. And so we always make fun of certain things to snap her out of it, basically. Like in Spanish, when you talk about your feet, a human's feet has a name, an animal's feet has a different name. When you're talking about a human, it's pierna. It's not the foot, it's the whole leg. When you're talking about the leg, you say pierna. When you talk about an animal's leg, you say pata. So when we need her to raise her legs, we say alza la pata. And that always makes her laugh. So of course, every time we see her, if we see that she's getting into that thing, we tell her raise your, levanta la pata. Now, for all the politically correct people, kiss my butt. I don't have time to explain to you why that's funny, and I really couldn't care less what your opinion is, because we're getting to the point in this country where you can't say anything without somebody finding something offensive about it. And I couldn't care less. If it makes her laugh, if I found anything super offensive would make her laugh, I would still say it, because if it's making her laugh, that's all I care about. She was not big on cursing when she was younger, but for some reason she loves cursing now. So her butt has a nickname that is basically the a bad word in Spanish. And for some reason, you mentioned that word, and if you don't know what it is, you can watch the Minions video when they're seeing their buttocks. And that little word they say that starts with "ku," that one. Oh my God! You say that word to her, it's like you made the biggest joke. So, and we try to find in going back to the offensive or not offensive. At this point in the game, I don't care if it's offensive or not. If it makes her laugh, I'm saying it. Now there are some exceptions to the rule. Um, she has she has a way to referring to certain kinds of people, and which is kind of ironic because her family is part of that group of people. So when she says something like that, I'm like, please, psh. I don't really berate her, because at the end of the day, you know what? She's been here for 84 years. If she wants to curse you out, let her curse you out. She'll laugh about it, and then she'll keep talking to you like nothing. And the majority of people that meet her, she can curse them out and they don't mind, because she is, they'll come to me and say, oh my gosh, she is the sweetest thing. And I'm looking at them like, she just cursed you out. That's the way she is in this stage of the game. Everybody treats her, and it's funny because everybody treats her like a queen, and she will tell you. She every time we go and visit her, she goes, oh my God, they treat me like a queen here. I don't have to ask for anything, blah blah blah. So she does know something's going on, and at this point she thinks she's staying. She thinks it's a home and she's staying there. And I keep telling her, no, whenever you're better, you're coming home. So, and of course I tell her, because we have a painting of the Eiffel Tower behind her headboard, and she, as soon as we tell her the room with the Eiffel Tower painting, she automatically lights up and say, oh yeah, I remember my room. So that's why I say the stage of the game that she's at, she has a lot more good moments than bad moments. And the lesson here is you need to learn to deal with the bad moments, and stop caring so much about what other people say. If it works for your loved one, use it. If somebody has something to say about it, you can call them aside and tell them to mind their business. Just make sure that they're happy as much as you can, because it's not going to last forever. You are going to have times when no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they're either going to be sad or they're not going to have a reaction at all. And hearing her laughing makes my day. So if you have any other questions about what kind of behaviors to expect, just leave them in the comment section below. Again, I'm Roxana for Avidiva, and thank you for watching.